Hi, I'm Maya from Bookworm Dreams and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to give you an update on all my reading challenges. You know that feeling at the beginning of the year when you're full of energy and zest and you have these plans to do so many different things, including various reading challenges, as in my case, as we are approaching this last quarter of the year to see how I'm doing in my reading challenges. So the first reading challenge, and the one that I've actually completed that inspired this video, is the Goodreads reading challenge. So at the beginning of the year, I set my Goodreads reading goal to 100 and I achieved that. I usually pick my Goodreads reading challenge number in a way that I know that it's high, but I know I can achieve it, that there is, if I achieve it early enough, that there is time left in the year to lift the number, right? So I've read 100 books already. So now I've put that number up to 125, which is something I think I will be able to achieve by the end of the year. The next reading challenge I'm going to talk about is the Reddit's Fantasy Bingo reading challenge. So this reading challenge is created on the fantasy subreddit. You get 24 prompts. You have to fulfill them by reading fantasy books or speculative fiction books. And there are some rules, like you can't read one book for several prompts. You can only so one book per prompt. You can't repeat authors inside the challenge. Like you can have two Brandon Sanderson books in 1 year's reading challenge, and you can have one reread. You can replace one prompt with one from previous years and whatnot. I do have a video for the 2022 to 2023 reading challenge wrap up where I was successful and achieved bingo, which was great for me. But then for this year's, so the 2023 to 2024, I made my life a bit difficult because I created two TBRs. So one TBR with just, books that immediately came to mind when I saw the prompts, and another TBR where I focused on trying to pick books that are by BIPOC authors. And yeah, so far, I do have a TBR video for this year's challenge, so check it out as well. But so far, I have read 13 out of the 46 books that I have on my overall TBR for this challenge. So that is 28% of the TBR read. I do have time, so I'm not overly worried. I also DNF'd two books. I DNF'd Rosewater by Tadej Thompson, and I DNF'd Roshani Chakshish, The Last Tale of the Flower Bride. I knew I was going to do well with that one because that's magical realism, but I just couldn't handle it at all. So yeah, so I'm not sure what I'll do with those two books by the end of the challenge. I might have to read something instead of those, but we'll see what happens. I still have time. So my third reading challenge is the Buzzword reading challenge. This is created by Kayla from Books and Lala. So she, at the end of the year, creates a list of buzzwords. So you have 12 buzzwords throughout the year. So you have to find a book that has that buzzword in its title and read it. So there are 12 prompts, and so far I have read 4 books. So that puts me at 33% of the challenge completed, which is not good. So I'm 4 months. There are 4 months left of the year, and I have to read 8 books, which technically would not be a problem. But, I have this thing that's been happening for the last couple of months. I've made a TBR and then read everything but the things on my TBR. So yeah. So I do have to make a concentrated effort of reading these books. I mean, these are books that I picked from my Goodreads TBR, and some that I have to research to find because some of the words were kind of buzzwords were kind of it fits more for thrillers or contemporary literature and not for what I'm choosing it for, because I'm using this Buzzword reading challenge to read more science fiction. So when the prompt for May was flavor and seasonings. So the only sci-fi book I can find for that was Rosewater, which I DNF'd. So yeah, I'm gonna just basically have to figure out a way to read these books. First of all, the backlog that I have, I mean, the books are interesting, but I just never kind of feel in the mood for them. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to be focusing more on the Buzzword reading challenge. Then we come to my last reading challenge, which is the 2023 reading challenge. This is a challenge in which you have to read a book for each year. So you have to read a book that was published in 2000, then one that was published in 2001 and 2002, and so on and so on until you get to 2023. So if I look at the TBR that I created for this reading challenge, I have read 6 books out of the 24, which means I've read 25% of this, which is not good, which would leave me to read 18 books in the next 4 months for this. But I sort of, as I usually do with these reading challenges, after some time has passed, I find other books that I've read that might fit the prompts or whatever, or the years in this case. So if I look at everything that I have read this year and, fit them in the years that they should be in, I have read 17 out of the 24, which would put me at 70% read of this challenge, which is much better than the one. So for example, for 2007, I picked a book called Sasha, but I haven't gotten to it yet. But I did get to a book that was published in 2007, and that is Hunt by Claire, what's her name? Kent, which was a very, very dark romance. And then another example is, so for example, for 2010, I picked The Passage by Justin Cronin. I wanted to read that book for years because I saw the show. I thought it was very interesting. But I can replace that by Bayou Moon, which is a book by Ilona Andrews. This is book, I think, 2 in the Edge series, which was also published in 2010. And so, I have several replacements for these things, which, makes me feel better because I don't have to read 18 books. I only have to read 7. So that's doable. So what am I going to do for the rest of the year? So I'm going to have to create, if I'm going to make TBRs. No, I'm going to have to create TBRs just with dealing with my reading challenges. Everything else can be on the side. But when making these TBRs, maybe I shouldn't put 8 books to read in a month, because it will create a lot of pressure and I won't be interested in reading it. I see the same thing's happening with my Aurelium TBR right now. I am struggling. I have 4 books left to read, and we have maybe 4 days left. So yeah, I think making TBRs this year has not been doing so well for me. So what can you do? These are my reading challenges. Wish me luck, because I will need it to be able to finish them by the end of the year. What I'm going to do, but I do know for next year, I'm not going to do the 2023, but I'm going to use the books that I haven't read from that challenge to put them on next year's TBR, because these are all the books that I wanted to read. They are books from my Goodreads TBR, and yeah, I just, when you have so many books and not so much time to read it, or then you find about different books and you want to read those instead of that, is just insane. Reading is insane, but we love it. Okay, so if you are participating in any of these reading challenges, or do you have a reading challenge of your own, please do share down below in the comments. If you like this video, please press the like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell notification to get notifications when we post new videos. There are some links in the description box for you to check out, so please do. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!